People, deluded. Now, I've tried to stay away from this topic because it don't concern me, it don't involve me, it's nothing to do with me. My opinion is irrelevant. I don't really care about it, to be fair with you. It is what it is, but I feel I have to. A lot of you have spoken about it or asked me to speak about it better yet, or I've seen the comments. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have seen what I don't want to say what happened to Robbie, because nothing happened to Robbie, but you saw the unsavoury scenes. Well, you heard allegedly Arsenal fans were chanting, Arsenal fan TV, Aftv, we want you to go or leave the club or whatever. And then you saw, which was a bit unsavoury, in which it weren't physical, at least from what I seen, but it looked, what I don't like is this intimidation thing. You see, it like people try to intimidate Robbie a bit, and Robbie, trust me, listen, you lot people kind of lucky Robbie's rebranding and it's got to be professional and stuff, because trust me, Robbie ain't scared of them. And if Robbie's brother was there, it might have been a bit different, innit? So I'm not going to say, them and they ain't intimidated. Like, Robbie's a G, like Robbie's, you know, he's been Tivoli Gardens and all them thing there. He knows about the thing, so that's light. And trust me, if it got to that, Robbie will protect his thing. Robbie's not. You see Robbie. Robbie can defend his thing, innit? But it was a bit unsavoury when I'm seeing someone. I will say as well, on a humorous note, Robbie, you're a better man than me, because that guy who was flashing that £5 note, boy, that's a free beer for me. And listen, guys can't be acting like that, innit? I don't feel there's any. You can't. Nobody's right and nobody's wrong. There's not one position, and I feel this kind of shows the division and whatnot. I will say, first and foremost, listen, it is harsh if people are singing Aftv, we want you to go, and all this blah 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 and all this stuff, but in the same way people go on Aftv and give their opinions about players can go, people are allowed to dislike the channel. People are allowed, while it's unsavoury, and I wouldn't like people chanting DG, you have to bust out, they are allowed to do that, because fans on Aftv and at times the platform have done not that sort of thing, but haven't been scared to voice their own opinions. So you got to take the rough with the smooth. If you don't like it, don't watch it, is what people say, and there is truth to that. But at times I can see why people would think it can become a bit cringy. Arsenal have just lost. Majority of fans are flocking to it to watch us lose. You've got certain individuals who can't contain their emotions, moving a bit mad. You've got people taking things beyond constructive criticism of what's happened on the field and going personal. Yeah, for me, I find the most cringy the sheep mentality, the wolf mentality, and actually nothing to do with the people on the show. It's when you're recording, it's the people that have got their first bit of freedom, had their first beer, behaving a bit mad, innit? It can become a bit cringy and become a bit leavey. And it's got to the point where people have seen probably DT and Troops. Listen, I'm sure if you ask Troops will say he's probably gone too far at times. And I'm not here to defend anyone or back anyone, but I can speak for Troops, and Turkish is irrelevant from this, but Turkish is a real guy. Troops is a real guy. Troops is one of the only people who've, have tried to, that Troops handles himself in a real way. What you see on the camera is what you see off it, rightly or wrongly. And for me, speaking with Troops and whatnot, and when I buck him and whatnot, he's one of the most genuine in it. He's like Marmite. Like I said, you're gonna love him, you hate him. Of course, he probably goes too far at times, and the guy's got no filter. But Troops, I got time for Troops, innit? And I feel, it depends, because I feel people seeing what him and probably DT have done, and really Robbie with his channel. A lot of people do hate on Robbie for just simply having this channel, but I do think people have seen what Troops and DT have done for, okay, cool, let me try and get 5 minutes of fame by acting up or moving a bit mad or just acting silly and stuff. I'm not saying them two have, I'm saying, we live in clout chasers. You've got people throwing away season tickets, you've got people putting up signs when people are recording. Even Troops has told man to allow that sometimes. But you get what I'm saying, you see the just man moving weird and whatnot, just moving a bit mad and whatnot. And for me, cool, the teenagers gonna move like that, but I'm seeing grown ass folk, more, I ain't got no facial hair, but facial hair, probably paying mortgages, you're behaving like waste, man. It's cringy, people. So I do think there obviously is a right to critique Aftv and anybody that's on it, people. There is, you're fully allowed that, especially when if you don't agree with any people. I do feel that certain people don't like, you know, they might not have a problem with Robbie, but they might have a problem with Troops and DT, and they use that as a stick to beat the whole platform with. Or they might not like Robbie and they use that as a stick to beat the whole platform with, or there's just an agenda. Do you get it? I do think, not necessarily Arsenal fans, but I do think genuinely with the media and whatnot, there is an attempt to belittle Robbie and Robbie's platform, and it does stink a bit of racism. I'm not talking about the latest incident that's happened in the Everton thing with the clips on social media. It does feel like it does feel like the media want to shoot a black man down, really and truly, because he's got a good platform. And what I will say is this as well: I do think Robbie should screen people a bit more. I've said that before. I do think Robbie should screen people because he's got some wallies and wackies on it. But in real time, when the game's just finished and Robbie's just left the ground, and he's met me for the first time, how does he know that I'm a clown or I'm a certified individual? I know what I'm talking about. Only via talking. Do you get it? So he can't really screen people. I'd also say this as well: Robbie's a fucking nice guy, bruv. Robbie's a fucking nice guy. So when I saw that, I felt upset for him because he's a nice guy. Yeah, he makes, obviously, let's not be dumb. Like, he's got a platform. It's one of the biggest football, not just Arsenal, football platforms. On a regular bit, you see Troops, DT, Kelechi, all these guys go viral and they're all in the papers and whatnot. That generates views. Views generates money. Let's be honest. The negativity with the YouTube has sold. I'm not saying Robbie capitalises off negativity necessarily, because when Arsenal do well, they do well. And I don't necessarily feel Robbie, I think he plays devil's advocate with the questions because he does it to me, but I don't feel he forces negativity. I just feel Robbie calls a spade a spade. If Arsenal was winning league titles and stuff, we would be talking about league titles and being happy. We've been shit, so we're going to be shit. Do you get it? Of course, I feel at times man scapegoat and say irrelevant things, of course. But Robbie gives everybody the chance as long as you're willing. Obviously, he has the regulars, and let's be honest, the regulars do generate views. People want to hear what Troops and DT say, whether you agree with that or not. They generate views. Arguably, they're the bread and butter. And also, they're his friends now. Like, I don't know how long he's known DT. Troops has said how they bucked each other previously in his own interview, how they became friends after Wembley or something. So they've become man's friends. So if they're man's friends and they're going Arsenal games with you, you're going to want them to give their opinions. You're not going to tell them they can't have their opinions. Do you get it? And you can't say Robbie's about cash, really, because he gives everybody a chance, people. Everybody, literally. Of course, the regulars, and I ain't going to lie, Robbie, at times waiting for AFTV, I'm seeing, it's like people got the fast track tickets, and when I'm waiting, people got the fast track tickets to go on and whatnot. So maybe pattern that up. But Robbie gives everybody their time to speak. How much interviews does this guy do week in, week out? He was at Goodison Park in Liverpool. He's probably, he's going to be at Bournemouth's game, and he'll give everybody who wants a chance a chance. Do you know? You can't say he don't love the club and he's all about peace. Obviously he makes money and it's a bonus. Win, lose or draw, he's gonna get clicks, of course. But he's sitting there interviewing everyone, and he's a human like us. He must sit there and think, "Boy, you're chatting shit. I don't want to listen to what you have to say," but he still does it. And you can't, obviously Robbie is the one putting the videos out there. Robbie is the one, well, not necessarily, but it's his channel and nothing goes without his say so. I feel people don't really want to direct their energy at people they have a problem with. And for me, whether it's the AFT, whether it's people where, even when I'm making my interview, the sheep mentality, like when people say Xhaka is shit, for example, people start screaming it. I was there at one of the games and it was a bit allow it, man. It got a bit allow it. There's sheep mentality. I also feel there's sheep mentality to get at Robbie and get at AFTV as well. And what I don't like about that, because many people, whether on AFTV side or the clowns that use the platform and abuse it, or it's the people who don't like it, many of these people don't have this energy. Do you get it? They don't have this energy one-on-one. So I don't like the sheep mentality. For me, I don't like the division of the club. If you want AFTV to go, I can't lie, Robbie, they're allowed their opinions in it. If they genuinely don't believe in the platform and don't like the platform, they're allowed to air it. AFTV ain't going nowhere and it shouldn't go anywhere. That's my opinion. But they're allowed to say they shouldn't have it in it. I do think the channel could go through a revamp, Robbie. I'm not going to lie, in the sense that there is, I don't know if you could, give more light to people like Graham, who's giving the tactical analysis, or Lee Judges, a bit more of that, them sort of things there, because it is more or less the same individuals, the same faces, the same content, and there's not really a leg to stand on in that regards. When you see people like Claude and Curtis, I think they could have more of a greater emphasis on the platform, because I'm not saying they're better or worse than any other fans, but they provide something different. For instance, Curtis, when you hear him vex, it's not vexing what you might see Troops or DT doing. When Graham's vex, it might not be the same. So people like that, can you include them a bit more? Because it isn't just the same faces, but it is the prominent faces, and there could be more of a change in regards to that. Either way, what I don't like is the thuggish mentality. Like, you can't try bully, man. What you're not going to do is bully and intimidate Robbie from recording and screening his show. You're not. Robbie's not like that. Robbie's from ends. Like, Robbie's a thug. Like, you're not gonna, couple drunken cokeheads shouting at him ain't gonna stop him from nothing, people. Do you get it? It's not. But them things there got to stop. For me, I just want to see some unity as a fan base. And I do think YouTubers as well, influencers of all platforms, they've got to have a bit more integrity and have a bit, be careful with what they want to say, people, because like I said, the sheep mentality. If certain people, obviously it's a silly example, but if certain people said Arteta out now, there's some people that wouldn't stop and think about how stupid that is, but they'll get behind it. So I do think the sheep mentality with social media and things, it is cringy. Obviously, as well with AFTV, it does get a bit cringy when you've got just wacky individuals on it. But they're allowed their opinions. Do you get it? They're allowed it. Everybody's allowed their opinions. Like I said at the beginning, Robbie probably doesn't want to listen to 85% of these people, but they allowed their opinions. And away from that actual incident, and I'm more talking about the platforms, the bigger platforms, I think there's some sort of hate for Robbie. Listen, if you hate the individuals, the way they talk, while I don't agree with that, okay, cool. I think there's genuine hate because Robbie has been successful in this. And why shouldn't a man be able to get his passion as well with the job as well, like marry his passion with Arsenal, with getting paid and things like that? There's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you can't begrudge him for seeing an opportunity with art, there's no platforms, and then going and doing it. Do you get it? Do you get it, people? And all these other, and away from the fans, I find Sky Sports, Talk Sport, all these things fucking hypocritical, because Sky Sports always saying is AFTV bad, but they always did they not race to the Emirates to go and interview some of the fans? What is being spoken about on AFTV? I mean, on Sky Sports. And even if you don't like AFTV and you want them to force them out, and you don't feel peaceful protests are going to do anything, common logic would be try intimidation, even though I don't agree with it. But don't you see how counterproductive it is now? Because if you go and look at the views, Robbie's views have gone up now. You've made them. You say he gets money and views and whatnot. Shouldn't the thing to be just allow it? Just you think they're so shit, they're so poor. Let's not get involved. Let's just allow it. You've made them a talking point. You've made them a clip. That clip is going to go viral. That clip is going to be shared. People that don't even know about AFTV, I can't imagine you don't, because they've got 1 million or so subs, are going to flock to it now. Robbie rightly so, he made a video speaking about it and whatnot and giving his own opinion. That's on what? Last time I checked, 380,000. So, and AFTV is trending everywhere. I'm not begrudging AFTV for trending or getting at Robbie. My logic is to the people that don't want them there. You've said, you've got at them and you say you don't want them there, and you want them out and whatnot, but you've just given them attention, you've just given them clout and things like that. I get you if you feel nothing can change and whatnot, because again, I don't think it's the platform, I think it's in individuals, and I think people got to have a bit more integrity, because I think with social media, I do think people on this platform and other platforms just say things for reactions, say things for views, say things for clout, act like dummies. It should be about the football. And like I said, Curtis and Graham, they're about the football. There's no gimmicks to them. But they're not. I feel personally these sorts can be given. I know Curtis has got his own show, but there's things that could be done. Even Robbie's brother, he could be on. Well, he's got his own show, but do you get it? There are people who speak cool, and to a degree, AFTV is not me. I'm DG. I do my thing. I've got nothing but love for Robbie, because he bust man, innit? He gave man some chances and whatnot, and Robbie's a fucking nice guy. That's why I'm vexed for him, innit? I'm vexed for him, and that's why I'll stick up for Robbie, because he's not just about peace. Like, the show it's facts. They get win, lose and draw, the views come in. Obviously the negativity, because of the heightened emotions from whatnot, it's going to be good. Like, Troops is my guy, but Troops is very passionate. If we lose 10-2 again, he's going to be irate. People are going to want to flock to see that, because he's an Arsenal fan and Arsenal fans are stressed. Do you get it? There's nothing he can do about that. There's literally nothing he can do about that. Everyone's allowed their opinions. I do think what I want to just see from football fans is just some integrity, people, man. Like, let's just... Because like I said, platforms in general, I genuinely feel certain people are capping. Like, there's a certain interview I was on with someone, and they were listing all the positive stats via a certain manager, but you could tell in their hearts they didn't believe that. They just knew this is going to give me clout, people are going to tune into this. Do you get it? Equally, some people just say negative things and act like dickheads for clout and whatnot. I do think the main thing I do think Robbie should screen people a bit more. But when you begin to screen opinions, when does it stop? And that does become border on potentially elitist. And you can't really, obviously, when someone's made themselves a clown, I don't think they should be allowed back on the show, because and I think it's got a mad effect, because sometimes regulars have good opinions, but because it's them, people don't want to listen, or because they rant and act like a clown, people might not necessarily take them in. Do you get it, sort of thing? either way, I think AFTV is a good platform, and I do think it could definitely do a lot better. I look at fan channels, like I see one day Manchester City, I think Manchester City are the best with social media. I think they're going to find a good way of bridging the fans and the things together. And I feel AFTV could potentially, because it has had some good moments. The Gary Neville couple player interviews, I think it could be a good platform in theory to have some good content with the club and potentially with players. Like, could you imagine if I'm going to say Xhaka, in an ideal world, if there was a better relation with Xhaka and it was just an isolated incidents, could you imagine if we could have Xhaka sitting down in a room discussing his poor form, discussing what he's gone right, discussing how he feels about fans, or, you know, Bellerin's comments about AFTV, if we could sit down and have things like that, or just in general about, I don't know, if there could be interviews, I don't know, Callum Chambers on AFTV about Arteta, do you get it? I believe there is a bridge for that, but I don't think it can really happen with certain people on that show, or the way it is right now. I do think there is that gap. But what I like about Robbie is Robbie refuses to polish things up, man. Because I do think certain people polish things up. I think what I like about Robbie and like about the platform is it's giving it raw. It's giving it raw. If we're playing well, talk about playing well. If we're playing poorly, playing poorly. I've got nothing but admiration for Robbie because he's shown great bravery to keep doing this. He's been innovative to create this platform, and it just keeps growing, and you're not going to get rid of it. I think it's a great platform, and I've got nothing but support for Robbie and things, but I do think there isn't just one side to stand on this, and I can see why frustration is there and why frustration builds and whatnot. But the money thing, I do believe, is misplaced. It very much is misplaced. Obviously, there is a business element to AFTV. Let's not be silly. Troops, DT, these guys bring views. These guys bring revenue. These guys bring relevance because people want to hear what they have to say. Whether it's the All Guns Blazing podcast or is it the Bias show Troops does. Like, they've got personality. They've got people that, like, as much as they've got hate, they've got love. They're taught, they bring their clout. So Troops is in effing FIFA and that and whatnot for God's sake. So there is a business element to it. There's a friendship group to it because they're obviously his friends, and there's obviously a business element to it. But fundamentally, I don't believe Robbie is just about money because like, I'm not around him every day, but he doesn't strike me as someone like that. And if he was about money, there's 10 times, trust me, with that platform, there's more things he could be doing for peace. And it's funny how people say he's all about peas and whatnot, but who spoke about when him and them lads there went down to, is it the Brixton Soup Kitchen, or when they're doing the charity things or raising awareness for these sort of things? Nobody gives Robbie or them and their credit for that and trying to use the platform for good. Do you get it? Like I said, there's no rights and wrongs. Nobody's hands are exactly clean, but for me, Robbie is a nice guy. He don't deserve them sort of things there because it's not him moving mad. A lot of if you're going to take the frustration out on people, take it on the right guys because it is cowardly. I do think there is cowards on AFTV when they make certain comments and you've got the crowd playing up to it. I think what you saw with Robbie in the clips from the Everton game, cowardly. I think fans in general, cowardly. I think there's agendas. Like, you're hearing Arsenal fans are racist now. Do I think Arsenal have racist fans? Of course, every fan base has got racist. Do I feel there's a racist element more so with the platform, to the platform via, like I said earlier, with the bigger media platforms, not the fans? Yes, but that weren't racist. People just don't like certain people are not allowed, just don't like AFTV, and they're allowed that opinion. Certain people don't like DG. They're allowed that opinion. But I took the AFTV thing. I take the AFTV things to a degree personally, not because it's my platform or whatever, it's because I've been on that platform on a regular basis, and whether I've been right or wrong, I've spoken with integrity, I've spoken from the heart. I've never, God strike me if I'm lying, I genuinely hear it. I can't say the same for everyone, but every opinion I thought I've ever had, or I've had, it's been what I've genuinely believed. I've not said anything for reactions or to boost my social claim and whatnot, and this ain't to save my own face, this is just because I believe in integrity. When I die and leave this earth, people, I want people to say, DG has fucking integrity. He stood up for what he believed in, he didn't do things he didn't believe in, do you get it? He knew right from wrong. That's how I've been raised, and that's what I want to see for myself. Because if I didn't, do you not think I could have 1 million subscribers, people? Really and truly. Think about it. Deluded Gooner. The platform like AFTV. Think about the bullshit I could do with that. Pardon my language, but think about I could move mad. But that's not me. I'm not on that. I'm not on making myself look like an idiot. And if certain people are, I can't take that from them. That's what you're on, innit? Certain people like... For me, I don't like the singing business and the carrying on. And Kelechi was the first to do that singing stuff. And I'm not even getting at him. Quite a few videos now, you're hearing people sing on the platform and carry on a bit mad. Do you see how silly it gets? People mimicking, people trying to get clout. That was Kelechi's thing, whether I agree with it or not. Did you get it? In the same way... You've got posh youths coming and saying, he needs to Google it. I can't stop using it as an example. He needs to Google it. Like, it's clearly not you. Like, Be yourself. Stop playing for clout. Stop ramping. Like, you're not on it. I didn't want to speak on this because this is irrelevant, people, man. This is no real need for me to speak on this. It's got nothing to do with me, but too many people keep asking. It is an elephant in the room to a degree. And yeah, man, next video I'm going to get back to talking about football, things that effing matter, and just speaking about Arteta or stuff. Forget all of this division crap, man. Let's just all get on the right side. Let's just all ride for Arteta and the players. Let's just all get back to Arsenal, man, because that's what no one's bigger than the team. That's what we need. It's Arsenal FC. It's nothing else other than that. On that note, I'm going to keep it moving because I'm trying to get a haircut on Christmas for Christmas Day. Bet my barber's not in, but on that note, DG.